Hi, everyone. It's the Lovewell Real Estate team here bringing you your monthly market update. I'm Margaret, and we have Katie Lovewell and Louise Lovewell. We're happy to see you all. And Katie is going to lead us through some numbers and what's been going on from November to December this past year.
Okay, so we are going to look at the statistics that are put out by our local real estate association, Bay East, and we are going to start. I think I lost my page of where I was going to start. I apologize. Aha! I like to start at the south part of Alameda County. So Fremont, we're going to start in Fremont and look at the numbers for December. So it's interesting overall, different cities are showing different things. So just have to, market's not clear in one direction for the whole of Alameda, but we'll look at each city and see what it's doing. So for Fremont, from November to December, you can see there was a big change in actives. And, that's pretty typical for the end of the year for things to really slow down. So it'll be interesting to see what it is at the end of this month. It definitely seems like activity is picking up. But that is where it is not a huge change. Even though the inventory went down so much, the average sales price didn't go down. Actually, I mean, didn't go up, it went down. So I think sellers were pausing, buyers were pausing. So it was a slower month for Fremont. All right, going to try to jump up to Hayward. And for Hayward, unlike Fremont, we had a trend up. It seemed like it was definitely going slower at the end of last year, but people were excited for Hayward. Prices are going up. Inventory was down, but I mean, it wasn't a median sales price was much greater than the average sales price, but both show a trend going up from November to December. So moving on up, I'm going to go to San Leandro. And this also, again, the median sales price showed a huge jump. Almost looks like 50,000 from November to December, even a little greater than that, maybe like 75,000. But average sales price was just not that big of an increase. But inventory again, much lower from November to December. Moving to Castro Valley. Again, we show a big increase in at least the median sales price from November to December. Not as big a price in the average sales price. And inventory already seemed like it was pretty low in November. So it went lower in December, but not a drastic change from the previous month. Moving up to Alameda, average sales price, both actually average sales price went down. The median sales price showed a slight upward tick. Inventory was definitely down from November to December. And then moving to Oakland, I'm looking at the average sales price actually went down and median sales price went down. Inventory about half as much well, maybe not quite half. Anyway, definitely less than from November to December. Just a general slowdown. And then Berkeley, same trend for both median and average sales price showed a pretty decent drop, as well as inventory. Despite inventory going down, the prices again did not go up, which is usually when inventory goes down, prices go up. But inventory was down, and anyways, all right. Next city, we have Lafayette, which showed a slight decrease in both the median and average sales price. And inventory definitely went way down from November to December. Pleasanton, similar to the last few cities we've been talking about, with average and median sales price going down. Inventory about half as much as was in December as compared to November. And then moving on to Livermore, our last city that we're going to look at. Again, well, this one's a little bit different from the last few in that the average sales price showed a decrease, although the median sales price showed an increase, but inventory was also about half as much as it was in November, or in December was half as much as in November. So that is what we see. And again, you can always go to bayeast.org and look these up if there's others. All the cities in the Alameda County and Contra Costa are shown, so you can look these up and check them out yourself. But overall, I mean, Louise has been helping some buyers, and I think she can speak to what, a little bit of what she's experiencing with them, because it's an interesting market where it seems it's a little bit of both, which is good. It's kind of a in some ways balanced, just depending on the house. But Louise, you want to talk about your experience working with buyers and what you're seeing out there?
Sorry, sure, my throat was dry. So, it's interesting because of the properties that I've shown, probably in the last week, I would say all of them are probably still on the market. And I showed some in Oakland and in San Leandro. With the exception, there were two houses. There were houses in San Leandro that were kind of listed below, I would say, the median market in San Leandro. One was like for 549, one was listed for 649. Anyway, I'm not sure how many the 549 got, but the one for 649 definitely got 8 offers. But other things are just kind of sitting out there. So, and yet, we have our one in Union City, which we thought was priced really well. And, the buyers went crazy. And I think we're up to like 7 offers, Katie, 7 offers. And then if I go to like Castro Valley, our friend Liz and Ted had one on Elrod, and they only got 2 offers, and they had like 60 showings, which is kind of crazy to have that many showings, but at the end of the day, only have 2 offers. So it seems like it's kind of like, if you have all the check boxes marked and everybody wants it, you're going to go crazy. But if there's something, for whatever reason, they don't like, or it's not priced right. So I think the key is pricing the property right. If it's priced right, it will go.
Right.
And
And
it
also
does seem
flipping the
like
house
some of those, oh,
too.
sorry, you go ahead, Katie.
Oh yeah, no, just and there are some things, that buyers generally don't like, that they don't like popcorn ceilings. And so just being aware of those things, because if buyers are easily writing properties off, to try to be aware of what are things that could be deal breakers. I mean, remodeling kitchens and bathrooms, typically not what you want to do before you go on the market. But if there's other things you can do to a property, definitely recommend trying to get it into the best shape possible before you have buyers come through. Because the last thing you want is for buyers to come through and get turned off by paint or carpet, which are simple changes to, make them more appeasable to more people, so that you don't have, even though they're easy to change, just and sometimes sellers think, oh, buyers will do this and that. And you're like, but some buyers, they just want something that's move in ready and don't want to do anything. So trying to make it as, appealing to as many people as possible is always in your best interest. So that's what I just wanted to add. Margaret,
Yeah.
what did you want to say?
Oh, I was just going to say that, to Louise's point, that sometimes the numbers that we're looking at can be a little bit confusing, right? Not necessarily deceiving, but confusing, because we're seeing a lot of pendings way down. We're seeing low inventory, and we're seeing some houses sit, like Louise was saying. And that would make you think that maybe the demand isn't there, right? That like buyers aren't yet ready after the holidays. They're not yet ready because they're waiting for interest rates to drop, which is probably true. I think a lot of people are waiting, but I do think that the demand is actually there, because we're seeing that, like Louise was saying, with so many people come through your guys' Union City listing, so many people coming through, 7 offers. There have been a lot of buyers who have been waiting on the sidelines for interest rates to come down to, 6.5 or whatever it is. And there's a lot of demand out there. So if you're a seller, just know that the buyers are there. And to Katie's point, you just have to do those key things to make it one of those houses that will get the multiple offers. So I think that, of course, as interest rates drop even further, if everyone says that, right? And we've been saying that too, because we've heard that from our experts. We keep saying, we think they're going to drop. We think they're going to drop. Well, so what do we think is going to happen? If everyone says that, then I think that both buyers and sellers are going to think, well, I might wait a little bit, right? If I'm a buyer, I'm going to wait because those interest rates might drop. And if I'm a seller, I might also wait to list, because if buyers are waiting, then I want to wait until they're ready to go. And so I think that it's so much of a psychological game as well. But when you need to buy a home, you need to buy a home. And I do think that there have been a lot of people who've been waiting for several months, because interest rates were so high at the end of last year. So the demand is there. And yeah, I think that that's just what I was kind of seeing, and what Louise was saying made that pop into mind.
Yeah, and I guess the advice for buyers is, yes, there's definitely demand and competition, but there are some homes that are sitting. And so again, if you're willing to do a little bit more work, you might be able to, reduce that competition and not, go crazy looking at places with other people. So I think keeping your eyes out and hopefully being open to doing some work.
Yeah. Oh, and just one more thing. I think that when it's raining is a great time to go see houses because as a buyer, that's a time that you're going to see if a house really has issues. In a beautiful summer, dry month, you're going to have no idea if the crawl space gets super wet, if there's mold, if there's a funky smell, if there's anything. I love to go see houses when the rain is going crazy because that's when you really know if it has any issues. So just remember that and get out there and start looking.
That's good advice. It's
Yeah.
very good advice.
Okay, one last thing that I thought would be important is that for every listing we do termite roof and house inspection. And I think having those inspections helps the buyers tremendously because along with all the disclosures, it says, what is the condition of the house from top to bottom? And there's so many listings that I go to that they don't have the reports. And it's frustrating because you kind of don't know where you stand. And that's where basically being a buyer, you can kind of go in and renegotiate. So.
Yeah, for sure. If you go into, but some buyers don't even want to, even though it's an opportunity to negotiate once you go into contract because you would have your inspection contingency. Some buyers think maybe the sellers are hiding something. I've had buyers say that, or like, why don't they have them? They think it's strange. It's kind of the norm. So, but it is an opportunity for buyers if they can see it that, you can do the inspections and you can negotiate, which on so many other transactions, you are typically waiving 1, 2, or all of your contingencies and you never have that option. So can be a good thing for buyers, but they don't always see it that way. But
So,
that's it. Does anyone else have anything to add?
That's
no,
it.
I think we're good. I
All
think
right,
we
well,
had a happy last week of January. I think it's going to start raining for a few days. So I think we should have a nice weekend. So
I hope
everybody,
so. And I apologize if you can hear my baby crying in the background, Isabel. She's not very happy right now, but
time to go.
she's part of the group as well.
that's right. She's got her opinions.
She did.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Have a good week.